Don't you want it? 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 You lose your little mind. 5, 10.
Welcome to the Deadlights podcast. I'm your host, Sam.
And I'm your other host, Leslie, bringing you your horror.
Yeah, you know it. You know it.
Your horror.
Your horror.
Your horror. I swear I only took one sip,
We
Mom.
only took one sip. Yeah, that's we're starting off. But maybe we're feeling in a different bit of mood, maybe more musical mood. Because of the movie we just watched.
What movie did we watch?
We watched Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street from 2007, directed by Tim Burton, written by John Logan and Christopher Bond. The legendary tale of a barber who returns from wrongful imprisonment in the 1840s London, bent on revenge for the rape and death of his wife, and resumes his trade while forming a sinister partnership with his fellow tenant, Miss Lovett.
Miss Lovett.
Interesting.
Loves him.
Yes. So,
Cute.
I mean, first off, this is our first musical of the podcast.
This is our first musical.
Now we watched Rocky Horror in the 31 days.
Yes.
But under the new Deadlights form, we have not had a musical yet.
Nope. And let me tell you, this one for sure carries the whole very dark, murderous, gothic kind of themes.
Yes.
That do apply to
Absolutely.
this perfectly. Rocky Horror Picture Show is one where we've had friends be like, "Oh, why'd you include that in your bucket? Look, it has horror in it and there was murder in it too."
Yeah, it was like Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, themes of that.
Absolutely. It's a monster. It's a monster movie.
It's a monster.
Absolutely. And an alien movie. And a musical. But I think you're totally right. Like, I remember when I put this movie specifically in the bucket, I remember like having a second thought of like, should I put this in there? And now that we watched it, I'm like, yeah, it definitely fits within the horror genre.
It was so dark.
It was
couldn't
screaming.
see.
Yeah.
And then there was whispers.
A lot of whispers, a lot of darkness, a lot of blood.
Blood.
Yeah. And this was your first time seeing this movie too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I knew what it was.
Mm-hmm.
That he was a barber that ripped the throats of people.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I knew.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard any of the songs. They didn't make their way to my ears because I'm not a big fan of musicals.
That is another part of this. Like, neither of us are typically the musical watchers. So I thought it was kind of an interesting... I mean, we were forced to watch a musical because we pulled it from the bucket. The Deadlights gods wanted us to watch it for some reason.
Yes, they did.
So I thought it was... Before watching it, I thought it was going to be an interesting watch for us both because it's going to be... I was curious how different it was going to be from the other movies that we watched because it's a musical, but also what elements it was taking from the horror movies that we have watched, which I think there are both.
They are, and we'll talk about them because this is what we do.
This is what we do. Let's talk about it, huh?
Let's talk about it.
All right, let's get to the can. Let's get to the can. Dink. And the can, I mean, I feel like when I say it's a very Tim Burton-y movie, people will understand what that means.
Oh, yes.
Because it very much screams his aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
Dark.
I mean, also, he has his two favorite people that he loves casting over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
For good reason.
Oh, yeah. They have chemistry. They have charm together. They're kooky. They're weird. They fit. You know? They look good together on screen.
You use the word gothic, which I think is a perfect way to describe the aesthetic of this movie, because you're right. Like, there was so much darkness, and even in daylight, it could have been at night. I mean, it was this very over dramatic 1840s London, obviously, and it was a very dirty London, and he really sold that. I mean, like, everything about it, between the actual sets and the lighting and the costumes,
Mm-hmm.
very, very dark. The makeup too, like super washed out and very
Well, like, I mean,
pale.
you've seen Tim Burton stuff.
Exactly.
He
Yeah.
loves a pale woman
He does.
and a very shrunken, shriveled, crazied man.
Mm-hmm.
That is like his, you know, his tale, his love language.
It's really interesting. I mean, it's almost like it really is like the perfect musical for him to direct. I mean, because his style works so well with the story. I mean, because the entire story is about shittiness, essentially. Like, it's about the darkness of humans, and we are put in his very dark Tim Burton-y world the whole time. And I wrote down that a lot of the things felt over dramatic, like a lot of the camera movements and obviously the characters' actions and stuff. But we are in a musical.
It is a musical.
We're in a musical. So
Yeah.
every 5 minutes we're getting a song. I buy it because we are in a musical. And I actually enjoy it more because it's a musical. And I expect this kind of over drama.
You know, I think what doesn't work for me when it comes to musicals is that it gets to a point where I just want people to fucking talk, because there's a lot of things that I miss. I personally need the subtitles to understand what's going on. I don't have a trained ear to capture a lot of the like extended kind of words. So I lose a lot. And Helena, I love you so much, but you were talking like this all the time. And I was like, what are you saying?
Wait, what's your rush? What's your hurry? You gave me such a fright, I thought you was the ghost of a minute. Can't you sit? Sit it down, sit. All I meant is that I haven't seen a customer for weeks. Did you come in for a pause?
If you're not in this world, if you're not actively surrounded by music that goes this fast, you will not be with it.
And neither of us are trained in music or are
No.
singers. So it's definitely interesting.
I am a singer. No, I'm not.
Yeah, you judge. You judge, y'all.
Judge hard.
Judge hard. But it is interesting because I find, even not having understood a lot of the words, I do enjoy some of the music. I think it is cool in some of these songs when we do have characters singing on top of each other. And even though I can't really understand what they're talking about, it is this like kind of cool, pretty melody and harmonies that they have going on that creates a song from two people talking at once.
I think what I really enjoyed in The Can is just Johnny Depp and Helena together. I think they create magic. They just know each other so well that I think are able to, do these kinds of characters, more of the wacky, kooky, dark. And then also within The Can, I just love Tim Burton's aesthetics and style. I just do. And I think, you look at him and his hair is also just like
He looks like he
fucking
could.
Sweeney Todd.
Looks like he
Yeah.
could be getting a shave from Sweeney Todd.
And also, like, I'm surprised that he doesn't put himself in his own films like other directors do, because he would fit so well in the world. So to just have a style as a director, as a writer, as a creator, I think is really cool, because that's something that I struggle with. Is that like, what is my style? I bounce off from everything, which I'm okay with that too. I don't have to have like a label or aesthetic per se, but I like it when others have found it and
Well,
just roll with that.
it was an absolute compliment when I said from the top, this was a Tim Burton movie, because that's so unique for someone to just look at a film and be like, I know who made this. Because you're right, he has that distinct style that you can see. And not to take anything away from that, because I think that is awesome that we can all recognize that. But you know that he's also taking from the things that he loves too, you know? So the commitment is 100% in his Burton-ness.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
he loves Johnny Depp. He
does.
loves
That's what I was
him.
going to say. I was like, you said he doesn't put himself in the movies, but I feel like Johnny Depp, for the most part, is playing
like
the
an
part that he
extension.
would want to play. So we're talking about Sweeney Todd, obviously, and a big part of Sweeney Todd is the meat. Had to make the pun. I had to do it.
Yum,
the meat
yum.
pie. Meat pie.
Yes.
And something that I think is in this movie that is shared by a lot of the horror movies that we watch is it very much centers around reaping what you sow. You know, and
Love it.
and Miss Lovett. And every character almost, there is an example within them of your actions coming back to either help you or haunt you. I mean, obviously Sweeney Todd is a big one because at the beginning of the movie, he is returning. Like he's literally coming back to get what he was taken from him.
Yeah. I
And-
mean, even down to like living in the same fucking house.
Yep. He's seen the world. He's seen the shittiness of the world, and he thinks that London is the center of all the shit because that's where the center of all his shit is. And then we also have a character right next to him that's coming into London with like a bunch of hope. And oh my God, it's London. The possibilities of this place. And I just like how this movie starts with that because we have like the juxtaposing perspectives of the story. Do you think that before the musical starts, he's already gone? Like, because I feel like there's a moment maybe when he comes to London and he might have a little hope still. Maybe my wife is still here. Maybe I can find my daughter again. And then that hope is just like taken away. And that's when he's like, I'm just going to kill everyone. Everyone deserves to die. Or did he already come to London and there was nothing there? I guess, like, was there hope for him or not?
This is a tough question. I feel like there was nothing, and then he saw this hopeful boy, reminded him of himself a little bit, but he kept telling him like, "Oh, this place is shit. This whole is shit. There's people. There's shit." And then I think if Miss Lovett
Yeah.
was able to convince him, there was a slight little like flicker of hope there for her to be able to come in, swoop in, and be, Miss Baker?
New Miss Baker.
New Miss Baker.
Yeah.
I think he would have been stripped of all hope and then just marry her out of just convenience. And also they had a little good setup there.
Yeah.
He was providing the me and she would provided stability, I guess.
Money?
In a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, that's the whole kind of interesting part of their relationship is that, first of all, it is built on lies because she knows that his wife is still alive, but she is providing this like kind of alternate world where he can give up this vengefulness that he has on his shoulders, that he holds in his heart so close, and just have a normal life, just like commit to a monotonous life and be okay.
Like, I am here to help you. I was not expecting for what happened.
As far as like the reveal of the wife was not dead.
Which is really funny because I feel like I personally like being ahead. And I like putting puzzle pieces together. But because this was a musical, I mean, I should have expected it, but also I didn't.
It was the crazy woman roaming the streets that comes in and out we didn't expect to be such an important character in the end, but it turns out it's Sweeney Todd's wife.
Course.
She's always looming around the important places. The first time we see her, she's at the foot of her daughter's window. We see
Begging
her
for money.
begging for money. We see her in front of Sweeney Todd's shop. Duh, like that's where her house was.
Duh.
And
Makes
then
sense.
she becomes such an important piece at the end to ultimately kill Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
But she was what his whole life and revenge was about anyway.
And then she died by his hands.
Which goes back exactly to reaping what you sow. Because he pretty much committed to everyone deserves to
He
die.
was blind with rage.
Blind with blood, blind with rage, blind with revenge. It didn't matter who.
No.
Everyone deserves to die. Even he said, "I deserve to die. You, Miss Lovett, deserves to die."
And that's the whole point of an eye for an eye.
Mm-hmm.
You will take your own eye out if that is what your life becomes.
An eye for an eye, you end up blind.
It's a circle.
Mm-hmm.
It's a circle, and it needs to stop.
But I like this movie. This is actually the first time that I realized this in this movie. We also have Toby. Oh, Toby.
Baby
Oh, Toby, who's their little
little drunks.
boy servant, kind of surrogate son for
Yeah.
Mrs. Lovett and Sweeney Todd. And I mean, obviously has this naivety about him. He's a 12-year-old boy who's just doing what he's told, and he's getting fed and he's getting alcohol, so he's happy. That's all he needs in the world.
He has
He has
decent clothes.
He has a mother, in Mrs.
Mother
Lovett,
figure.
mother figure. And what I like about that is that because she showed him this kindness of bringing him in, giving him a job, giving him food, he becomes extremely protective of her. And then he is the reason that Sweeney Todd dies in the end. So he's almost an example of a good example of reaping what you sow, because Mrs. Lovett showed kindness to him. He came back and was able to be the downfall of Sweeney Todd.
The children are either abandoned or they're used during this time to just bring in income for the families or themselves. They're having to provide and have seen at least how shitty the world is, and then need to navigate through it or they die.
Or are eaten, yeah.
Or fucking eaten.
And I think that this movie also has this kind of goes to what you're talking about. There is a very big undertone of the class system in this movie. Because, first of all, in London 1840s, there is a massive, you can see it, a massive difference between the lowest of the low and the highest of the high. We only see two kinds of people in this world in Sweeney Todd, is the peasants and then the top 1%. What then I like, Sweeney Todd takes a spin on it and is like, okay, we have these people who are using the lower class to elevate themselves. Well, let's just use the upper class now for the lower class by literally killing them, cutting them up, and putting them into meat pies so we can consume them. So it's like the poor consuming the rich. All right, well, let's get to the cook. Shall we?
Let's get to
Yeah,
Ms. Lovett.
Let's throw these meat pies in the oven.
Weirdly enough, I want one.
Me too.
I really want one.
I always think they look good.
I'm a sucker for a pot pie.
Yeah.
Love it.
Even the worst pies, I was like, I'd take a bite.
Oh, no, those, no, thank you.
I'm by
Too
myself on that one.
crunchy for me.
Whoops. It's moving still. All right, so how they actually cook this movie. I thought that there was this really interesting thing that I hadn't thought of before this viewing. There's a specific song about birds in cages. And that's the first song that we see Joanna sing. And her character is very much bird-like and, obviously trapped in this house and trapped in a cage for the entire movie. But I then started to think about a bird in a cage, in general. And we do see a lot of people viewed through windows. Like Sweeney Todd, obviously, specifically, we see that awesome sun window. And then we see them looking through windows, which just all have these bars in front of them. So, like, we're constantly seeing people in cages.
Kind of distorted.
Yeah, like, we constantly see people stuck in their areas. And I think that kind of goes back to the theme that they're trying to play with, which is people being stuck in this revenge or their desires of the world.
Freedom.
They want to be free, but they're stuck in their trauma or they're stuck in the things that they're holding on to. And I liked that tie. I liked that almost everyone was a bird trapped in some sort of cage in some way in this movie.
Also, that distortion that the windows created for when, especially Sweeney Todd and Miss Lovett, we're looking at people and just putting labels to make themselves feel good, to be able to like kill them and eat them. You know, it's like, oh yeah, that person, whatever.
Oh, they're a lawyer.
They're a
this.
lawyer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Cook them.
Cook them. And so we saw a lot of distortions and, like, I think the only person that looked through a window and saw an actual human being was Anthony. Anthony saw her. Joanna. Well, how did I forget her name? There's so many songs about her. And she saw him distorted until he came to rescue her. And he did everything. He did more than the father did, which to me it speaks more because he's not just singing about her and thinking about her. He's actually moving. He's putting his foot down and doing the groundwork. Although he was just like, I can feel you, I can smell you. And then he like found her.
Yeah, I mean, whatever works,
like,
I guess.
what?
Yeah. No, but you're right. He wasn't like all consumed by his hatred for the judge or his contempt for him or for the situation that he was in. He was out there looking for her. He was doing everything despite.
So this kid has not been, beat down quite yet. He received his first beat down by the judge, and he was like, oh, hell no. This is making me want to fight more, which is a very clear perspective that when you're that young, you have that momentum, you have that fight in you, you have the fire. I was able to relate to Anthony because I was like, hell yeah, to make it a little personal here, I'm gonna get real. I moved to Chicago when I was 26, and it was pre-pandemic, 6 months before the pandemic. Had all this momentum to go and get what I wanted, and then never would I have thought that a massive pandemic worldwide was going to happen and kind of reroute, So now, am I Anthony still or am I Sweeney Todd? Am I going to be vengeful and be hating my life for not, living a happily ever after? Or am I still going to have that fight,
Yeah.
So, although Anthony, come on, bro, take her on a date and figure out who she is first before you whisper away.
Yeah, it's true.
But also, I guess, good for her that you were there because now she's not.
True. I like actually at the end when he does finally free Joanna and he takes her to Sweeney's barbershop and he's like, wait here, I'll be right back, and we'll get you out of here and we'll be safe.
Joanna, When we're free of this place, all the ghosts will go away.
No, Anthony. They never go away.
Sad.
Is it a hopeful ending? They survive. Actually, all the children survive.
Oh, that is true.
But what is the world that we leave them in? Is it going to be okay for them?
I do have hope that they will make it. She is a woman, so she will forever have to, in 1840s, have to fucking be in a man's debt. She can't do anything without them. So for her nightmares are going to continue, but hoping that Anthony will add to that,
It's just a different cage, I guess, that she's about to go into.
And that's the world of a woman.
Dang. Sweeney, this is a very pessimistic ending. It is a very cynical ending of this movie, which, fair. Honestly, look at the world that
All
they're
the
in.
adults die.
Like almost all the ones in London, because Sweeney Todd was cooking them into pies. So, yeah.
Damn, those pies look good.
Damn, they were yummy. I think we should get to the thrill. Let's get to the scary parts.
Yeah.
Because we are talking about horror, right? So there's a couple. We said it before. There's a couple villains throughout this movie. But I think we should probably start with the most obvious one, which is Judge Turpin, the fucking evil motherfucker who took away Sweeney Todd's wife and raped her and then stole her daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Stole their daughter. So he is like, if we're thinking about like overall these villains, I feel like he really kind of represents the depravity of man and using your power for your own gain.
Because also he's a judge. He makes the decision whether someone could live or die.
And he obviously he was able to send Sweeney Todd away for 15 years for probably no reason. So that's a lot of power to have.
Oh, yeah. And he did it because he just could.
I therefore sentence you to hang by the neck until you're dead, and may the Lord have mercy on your soul. Court is adjourned.
He didn't care about Sweeney Todd's wife at all.
No.
Because he just raped her and then tossed her to the side anyway.
He just saw a beautiful thing.
I want that.
And then also, that baby will turn 15 soon.
Raising my child wife. He views her as a bird in a cage because he's keeping her locked away.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's a thing he can control and keep and have as some sort of possession. And there was this interesting moment when Anthony goes into his study and he's talking about the books that he has.
The geishas of Japan, the concubines of Siam, the catamites of Greece, the harlots of India. I have them all here.
He has these books and he has these pictures and he's just in his imagination just able to do whatever he wants to do with these fucking women. And that's what his entire life is about, controlling them. He can control a book.
Of course, he's not going to view a woman with any sort of respect.
Mm-hmm.
He is making decisions for man, for children. So he feels like a god. He feels like superior. He is above everybody. Everybody bows down to him and needs to do what they're told. Otherwise, he could imprison them for 15 fucking years or longer.
For no reason.
No reason whatsoever.
Yep.
And everybody knows that. Everybody knows what happened to
Benjamin Barker.
Benjamin Barker and his wife and daughter.
Yep. And then we have Sweeney Todd, who is our main character, our title character. But
He is
the demon. The demon barber of Fleet Street.
Barber.
So he is a villain in some ways too. He is kind of this this raging fire, essentially, that is just trying to go through the streets of London. At first, it's almost like he has this contained fire about him where he's like, I just want to go for the judge, and that's it. But then
It doesn't
it
work that
ignites
way.
it ignites even bigger, and he's just like, I don't even give a shit about anyone.
Like
everyone.
Like the furnace in the bottom that's baking the pies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's his heart right there.
Fuck everyone. Fuck the world. Fuck London.
And Miss Lovett was able to put all of that. Well, not all of it, because she tried to be contain him in some way. She wanted his love as opposed to his vengeance, but was able to tolerate that because it was also feeding her in a way.
That is my question about her character is Sweeney Todd. He's a character that has very clear, his motivations are very clear, and we know exactly what he wants. Mrs. Lovett's is kind of a little more complicated because I know she loves Sweeney Todd, but she's doing things like facilitating him murdering people to keep him. And so is she worse than Sweeney Todd because she knows what he's doing and also allowing him to do it because she wants him?
I don't find it to be worse. I find it to be in the same plane.
They're partners.
They're partners. Yeah. I think both of their... I mean, for her to understand that he's murdering because he's trying to get to a point to be able to murder the judge, she is then able to provide stability and money and a way for him to not get caught. And so she's able to go that far for love. Because love is complicated.
Their love is. That's for sure. Yeah.
Especially when you involve murder. But like, she doesn't, she cares to an extent, a certain point in which she is trying to convince him to not kill the judge, to let it go and just marry her. But, you know, she also doesn't give a fuck about all these people that he's murdering.
She doesn't give a well, all she cares about is herself and what she wants. I think it's very interesting that because we're in a world where people are talking about not having dreams, you know, and not being able to see a future. We have an entire song about her looking to the future. She's one of the only characters that we have talking about the possibilities and the wonders of the future. Like, maybe we could have a good life. And so all of her motivations seem to kind of go back to making this like perfect dream-like life for herself.
Which is, I'm going to go back to a woman in the 1940s needed a man. Her restaurant is suffering after her, husband passed away. They're the worst pies in fucking London.
They really are.
They look disgusting. She's lost it, and she's always had this, it seems like a fascination with Benjamin Baker.
Benjamin Baker.
Baker. And like, she's infatuated.
Yeah.
Yeah. It essentially because like she looks crazy like him.
Yeah.
She's a hopeful character.
Yes.
Very, very hopeful.
Yes.
Very demented, just like Sweeney Todd. Who is worse? I don't think there's a worse one between them two. I think the judge by far is the worst one. Not that he actually killed with his hands, but he kills with his words. And he contains people and thinks that he's God, and he's a pedophile.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Excuse me.
All that.
And a rapist.
All that, yes. Let's get to the ride.
Look, we're dealing with really hard topics.
No, it's true. And that's why I wanted to end it right there, because you're right. Like, all those people are villains in their own way, but there is a clear villain in this movie. And we all want him to die. And you know what? Sweeney Todd did a pretty good number on him. He stabbed him like 3 times in the neck and then dropped him on his head and then slit his throat. Like,
And then he didn't die.
Yeah, motherfucker kept coming back.
Mhm.
Classic
Classic
horror movie.
villain.
That's like a horror movie villain trope right
I
there.
mean,
Just keep coming back. Keep
The
coming
last
back.
episode with Scream, absolutely. Everybody kept coming back.
I
It
had
was
that
lovely.
thought. I had that thought when he was coming back. I'm like, oh, classic Scream right there.
Classic.
Yeah. But let us get to the ride.
Let's do it.
I wanted to save this question or this thought for the ride just because it has to do with kind of the generalness of the movie. Is why is Sweeney Todd a barber? You know, like the idea of a barber is it's something that everybody needs, whether you're like the top 1% or you're a peasant. Like everyone needs to have their hair cut. They need a good shave to feel good about themselves. So it's this job that everybody in all parts of society uses. And I think it's also kind of unique because no one ever looks at the barber. When you're getting your hair cut or getting yourself shaved, you're not looking at the guy who's doing it. So that person can go very much under the radar, even though they're a person that is essential to every single person in society. So I guess my whole point is that I really like that he's a barber because it puts him in this very unique spot in society when we're in a movie, when we're talking very much about class.
Yeah.
And I like that tie.
I'm gonna add to that. I think it's a very nurturing kind of job as well to be a barber / also like
Hair
barber.
Yeah, hair
cutter. Yeah, that's essentially what I have in my mind. But yeah, so like it's very nurturing. It is very in the sense of you are taking care of someone, and a very delicate area. Which my thing when it comes to films is I cannot see a man shave. It is so for me. So this movie, I knew what was going to happen, and I knew it was going to get there. So I was covering my eyes for a lot of the time.
That's what I was going to bring up, actually, is the amount of scenes where he's shaving. And obviously they know. They know that. They know that you're expecting him to cut everyone's throat.
Absolutely.
And so every motion that he does over someone's
And
neck
then-
is like, is he going to do it?
Pretty women, fascinating.
In the ride, now that we're in this, is, and this could just be personal preference, as a non-musical watcher, there is a certain point in a musical when I'm like what you were saying, where it's like, just say it, just talk it out, let's get through it. We don't have to sing a whole song about this thing. So there is a certain point where I'm like, okay, let's get through this.
Stop.
Even when we watched Rocky Horror, there was a certain point in that movie where I was like, I was enjoying all of it, but I was like, okay, let's just get to it. Like, we don't have to keep singing. We don't have to keep singing.
Stop. And
Just-
you know, not to give God, cut the shit out.
Cut it out.
Not give credit to these amazing actors in musicals, in Broadway, in film. Look, you're singing, you're acting, you're moving, you're doing it all.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not trying to discredit what they're doing. It's just not my preference to how I like to receive information. I didn't grow up with that musical, bug. So it is difficult for me to then be able to absorb something if it's always sang to me.
Yes.
I can hear that you sing amazing.
Yeah.
You're dancing wonderful. At some point, I need you to fucking stop.
Just tell me what you're thinking.
Stop, Happy Feet. Stop. Look at what I'm doing. Yeah.
I totally agree. At a certain point, it becomes exhausting for me. And that's why I wanted to bring that up during the ride, because I feel like the ride of all of our categories is kind of the most subjective one of like, how did I personally enjoy the ride of this movie? And that is kind of what I get to at a certain point in this movie is like, okay, I'm kind of tired of the singing. Let's just get to it.
Yeah.
And that's okay. If you like all the songs and committing to that, that's cool too.
You like high pitch fucking noise? You know? Here.
I'm not going to try to make a high pitched noise with my voice because I'm just going to blow out the speaker. So.
No.
Demon Barbara Fleet Street. I can just go low. That's all I got.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
I can go high, but I don't want to blow this thing out.
Yeah, we want our listeners to actually listen to this.
Yeah.
Not throw their headphones out of their ears.
And be absolutely upset and throw their phone out the window when they're driving.
I mean, maybe some of our opinions before of movies have caused them to do that, but I won't let our singing do that.
No.
No.
We're not here for singing. We're here for...
Horror.
Har.
We're here for horror. Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. 2007. We're pushing through it. We're just pushing straight through it. Let us get to the Smash Pumpkin ratings, shall we?
Yes.
Smash them up, smash them down.
Smash them.
Do you have a number?
I have a number.
Let's hear it.
You know, I'm gonna give this an overall just 3.
3.
You know, it's not terrible. I think for it being a musical, it was quite enjoyable. I mean, like I mentioned in the beginning, I like Tim Burton's aesthetic, so I think that's what won me over overall, and I think I know what Hollywood was trying to do when they did that. And yeah, I enjoyed Johnny Depp and Helena's acting together as always, and that's pretty much it. That is why I'm giving it a 3.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair. I'm gonna go 3.5 on this one, and my main reason is because kind of like what we talked about before. At a certain point, for me, things kind of get a little like we're trudging through it. But this is one of the few musicals that I do enjoy watching, and I kind of did give it little points down because it's not scary. There are points of tension when he's obviously shaving people, but I was never really scared.
I mean, when you are
know?
singing things out, it's
Right.
really difficult.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine. Like, it doesn't have to be super scary, but we are talking about horror. And
Imagine a snuff film as a musical.
essentially that's what we did watch. That is what we watched. But I wasn't scared. I wasn't scared by it. So
I covered
that's
my
why
eyes, but-
that's why I gave 3.5.
Yeah. Nice.
Still enjoy it. I think that was a good musical for us to review.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I mean, I think it is the perfect musical for us to have in the Deadlights podcast.
I do not regret putting in the bucket.
No. And I'm glad you did, because I wanted to watch it, but I never gave it a good enough reason for me to watch it alone.
I forced you to do it.
It's okay.
That's fine.
I'm okay.
Perfect.
This is what this place is for.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Let's see what we're watching next week, huh? Let's do it. La, 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 la. Whose turn is it, by the way? Is it mine, yours?
I think it's mine.
Cool.
I think you were the one that
Cool.
did Sweeney Todd.
Well, I think it was Ziamba, but yeah.
Oh.
It's fine. Just pull one out.
Okay.
Let's see what we got.
I really wanted to be prisoners so
Oh my god, if it is that, if you
bad.
just called it right now, that'd be insane. Logline? Wait, what? Wait, are you serious? Are you serious? Is it actually prisoners? Oh, okay, good. That would have been insane. Give me the logline. Give me the logline. Here we go.
An oddball group of cops, criminals, tourists, and teens converges in a Georgia forest where a 500-pound black bear goes on a murderous rampage after an unintentionally ingested.
Perfect. I just threw this in there. I just threw it in there. We're watching Cocaine Bear, aren't we? Ah, Cocaine Bear. Wow. From 20. Amazing. Amazing. From this year, ladies and gentlemen, from 2023, directed by Elizabeth Banks, Cocaine Bear. Wow. Have you seen this yet? No. Me either. Me either. I'm excited. I'm excited. Well, that'll be a switch up.
God.
Cool. What the fuck? This season's going crazy. This season's going wild.
And she's so proud of her baby. I've
Yeah.
seen so many videos.
I'm happy for her. I'm happy for her.
Absolutely. I
Good
love
for her. Yeah.
Love her.
Well, we'll see what happens in Cocaine Bear. Holy
I'm
guacamole.
so excited.
Yeah. Wow. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Wow.
And I actually got that from the middle.
I know. I mean, I try to mix them up as best I can.
I mean,
so.
you freaking did. If you just put that in and I
Yeah.
got it from the middle.
It's got to be mixed up. Got to be. Wow. Cool. Amazing.
Wow.
Cocaine Bear. See you next week for
Oh,
that.
See you next week. I'm
Holy
excited.
fucking shit.
Shut.
Cool.
Okay.
I just want to let everyone know we do have a phone number now.
Phone number.
Please call 773-669-6677 and leave us a voicemail. Tell us what you think about some of our reviews or our movie suggestions or what you like
Yeah.
about horror in general. We want to hear.
Everything, please. This is why we're doing this, is because we want you to see horror films.
And tell us about it.
Shit. And
Yeah.
burp every
And
now
burp.
and then, please.
Yeah.
It's human.
Try to keep the voicemail short. Don't burp for 20 minutes into
Yeah,
it.
please don't burp.
Please don't.
Look, I do it. Maybe. Do you edit these out?
I probably won't edit this out. This is all staying in.
Okay, well.
This is the raw Sam and Leslie right here.
Yeah. But yeah, give us a call.
Give us a
please.
call.
And follow me on Instagram, Color Me Leslie.
And me at Beep Beep Richie T, and us at the Deadlights Pod. Also check out Playground Social, which is the studio that we're recording this at. But until Cocaine Bear, let's get spooky.
Ooh.
Oh, Sweeney Todd, Todd, Todd.